Right, strangest introduction I've ever done from here in this wonderful Premier Inn in Ormskirk, Liverpool, because tonight we are going, or have just been, to Farmageddon. Now, it was an increasingly difficult place to film. Lots and lots of incredibly loud music. The outside areas were absolutely chucking it down in the middle of Storm Babette. So we have captured quite a bit of footage for you. We'll pop the footage on in just a moment, and then when we come back from the footage, we'll let you know what we thought about Farmageddon 2023.
Warm with toast derby.
We're getting a bit cold actually.
Oh, get Capri Sun on me, yeah?
Oh yes.
Capri Sun get you warm and moist, yeah.
Definitely. What's in the bag?
I show, yeah. Ooh. Look at me, what's in the bag, I'll show you now. You we got that when it gets naughty in the sex dungeon, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And then I got a bit of a surprise, so it's like, oh, scheisse.
Oh no.
I messed up. A bit. Yeah, I had too many tablets.
I think you've got a bit of a back condition.
Look at me, I want to be funny.
We try.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry,
not that funny.
Yeah, you, me. No. Need a way. Yeah, my back condition. Someone got me too naughty, he's got to be back in bed. It felt nice and it got bad.
In one of these places?
No, in the normal place, place.
So I'd like to avoid if that's the case.
Yeah, in the Queen's bed. He's got my back, he's got yours, literally, yeah. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, look at me, I'm all fluffy. Yeah. Hello, Liquid. You ready to use the bat again? I like using the bat, yeah. I like that, yeah.
Escaping each other.
So this is now my third time on doing this review. Each time I try to do it, it comes across as scathing, and I don't want it to be scathing. Unfortunately, when we went last night, we did get, for us, what was a bad evening at a scare event. Some of the stuff may have been inherent to Farmageddon themselves, things that they could improve. Some of the stuff were natural causes, such as Storm Babette. The hub area was a really nice hub area. It's a good central location. The mazes are dotted around the outside, some of them within that central hub, some of them a bit further out. But it's a nice area overall. It's very well themed. Fantastic, huge animatronic on stage. A really nice stage for the entertainment. It's got a bar area and some food. It's a nice little layout. And it's in this area that all of the wandering scare actors are. And the wandering scare actors that we came across, they did really try their best. Some great sort of costumed characters. You could tell they were really into the roles. They really enjoyed what they were doing. Unfortunately, we couldn't get that much of interaction with these scare characters because the music and the band were always just a little bit too loud. I know it makes me sound really, really old, but that music could have done with coming down a couple of decibels just so you could actually have that conversation. Me and Lucy struggled to have a conversation between herself. It was even more difficult to have that conversation with the scare actors. I don't know if that's something that just happened tonight, because I have seen videos this season where people have got some really good interaction, but for us it just wasn't there. The interaction that we did get was good. It could have just been that little bit better had we been able to converse a bit more with them. Theming wise though, the central hub area, really, really good. It's a nice atmosphere. It did feel a bit like a club atmosphere rather than a Halloween event. A lot of people seemed to be there just to drink. It just seemed to be more of a party vibe than it did a Halloween vibe. The entertainment that is supposed to be on in the central hub area, again, I don't know whether it was just bad timing for us. We were there for around 3.5 hours, or whether there was just something going on that night. However, we have seen videos of lots of circus acts, lots of sort of exotic dancers up on the balcony and so forth. However, all that we saw last night was just a live band that was on for around an hour, and the rest of the time just music playing. There didn't seem to be any other acts, and we were there for a good amount of time, so I'm unsure whether there was an issue where they couldn't turn up or not. But overall, the entertainment just came across a bit lacklustre because it didn't have all of the extra additions that we'd seen there. We'd sort of built ourselves up for all this entertainment, and then there was just the band on. Very good band, but just a band. The mazes themselves, there's 4 mazes in total. They're scattered around the farm. A couple of them are quite close to the central hub area. Others are a bit further away. I think what could help the event going forward is that between some of the areas where you start in that central hub and the mazes further out, there's a bit of dead space with not a lot of theme in there. Whack some theming in there, some fog, some lights, a bit of airy music, and I think that incentivise people to hang around there a little bit more, because once you're travelling from the central hub to the maze and back, you're not spending any time elsewhere, so everything's kind of over and done with really quickly. Now, the mazes themselves, there is only 4 mazes available at Farmageddon, and I think this potentially could cause some of the issues that we saw last night. For an event that is one of the top 25 in the world, I think there should be at least 6 mazes there. Now, the main issue that we had throughout all of the mazes, the one thing that's probably made these reviews that I keep on doing a lot worse than they could be, is the batching issues. Now, the batching issues, I'm going to go with a 50-50 split of, it was Storm Babette. Lots of people didn't want to be outside. But yeah, the mazes themselves, what spoiled them all tonight was batching. Batching was a huge problem. I think, again, Storm Babette and the fact that everyone wanted to be out of the rain probably increased that. However, they were sending people through in batches of around 10 people at a time, and they were sending them through around every 30 seconds to 1 minute, which means that people caught up to you quite easily, especially if there was a scared group in front. Again, Farmageddon can't be held accountable for slow groups, But that bit of space in between the batches, some smaller groups of maximum of around 6 people, is really going to help through these mazes to make sure that you're getting the scares in there. Because for the most of the night, it seemed very much like Halloween Horror Nights to us, where you would be almost in a conga line going through these mazes, which is fine, but for a scare event where you're wanting to get scared, it doesn't help, because when you're in that line you can see the scares coming. You don't get scared because you know where they're coming from. The animatronic sensors only go off every now and again, and so some people are going to miss it. So work on that batching and automatically it's going to make this event 10 times better. But we just went on a particularly bad night. The batching's not going to look good anyway, but if the weather was a lot better, it might have eased it down slightly. One thing that would also help, with only 4 mazes being there, it's quite a small event. For a top 25 in the world, 4 mazes is quite a small event, especially when most places are now putting on the very minimum 5, but some places 6 or 7 mazes in total. I think add a couple more mazes in there and you're going to be able to spread people out across the event. Batching's going to become less of an issue, and overall the event's going to improve dramatically. From the 4 mazes that we went through the Maze of Death. Not our favourite. It was still an okay maze, but it was just already set up. I think it's a maze that must already be there during the daytime for the kids to go through. They'd added some scare actors to it, a small bit of theming, but because it's there during the daytime and it's not built purposely for the event, it was not hugely themed, but an okay maze. But out of the 4 mazes, it was probably our least enjoyable. On to Contagion. Contagion again. It was a great maze. It looked absolutely fantastic. It was multi-leveled, it was twisty, it was turny. The set designs throughout were really good set designs throughout it. They used 3D glasses within, which I think is one of the things that they don't need to do. We've seen it at Farmageddon 3D at York Maze. It doesn't necessarily work. The technology's not there yet. So get rid of that 3D. It doesn't really add anything to it. And then it would be a great maze. Once that batching sorted, the characters in there, great. The makeup, the costumes that they're using, brilliant. And the theming throughout this one, fantastic as well. It's just that you didn't get those scares because of the batching. Without batching, I think this would have been an absolute top class maze and I would have looked forward to going through it. The Meat Locker was another top class maze, spoiled by a little bit of batching. Theming again throughout, really good. This was a abattoir that you walked through. They wanted to turn you into a bit of their meat, very much like the Flesh Pot at York Maze or the Pie Factory at Extreme Scream. That kind of vibe to it. Made really good use of smell pods. The theming was excellent. Again, the masks that people were using, loaded with scare actors. The costumes really good. It's just that you didn't get any scares. Get that batching right, this would be another top class maze. Really nice to look around, and we still enjoyed looking around it. We just didn't get scared throughout it. And they did have a really good couple of characters in there. Don't know what they were. It kind of just looked like a body that had been stitched together in some sort of morph suit. They were crawling around on the walls. Really fantastic effect. I loved that one. And then the final maze, the one which was our favourite. Again, before I get into it, I'll just say, spoiled a little bit by batching because you didn't get any of the scares because you were in kind of a conga line going through. But otherwise, put that to the side, and the event, or the maze itself, was excellent. The theming inside the Beast of Terror was second to none. Some of the best theming that we've seen all season. Every single room and area that you went through had highly detailed sets. It had a load of animatronics throughout it. Some of the best and biggest animatronics we've ever seen. At least 3 of the animatronics in there were about 15 foot high. Really good. Really fantastic to look at. A wonderful looking maze. You could go through there in the daytime and just be pointing all over at all of the great stuff that are in there. They've done really well with that maze, and if you got the batching right in there and you got some scares in there, world class that would be. Really top notch. So that's all the 4 mazes. One of them not particularly great in our opinion. 3 of them absolutely fantastic mazes, but all of them just spoiled a little bit by the batching on the evening. As I say, not all of that is going to be Farmageddon's fault because there was a storm driving people inside, but send smaller groups, don't send them as quickly behind each other as they were doing, and these issues will be resolved and there'll be some absolutely fantastic mazes to go through there. And as we say, add another 2 mazes to the event. That's going to spread the people out even more. It's going to drive excitement for a couple of new mazes in there. They've definitely got the space. That is just going to help the event overall. Another thing which I think would really help would be to go from just going through once for each of the houses to going through an unlimited number of times. Most places are moving on to an unlimited ticket this year, and with only 4 mazes being there, and you can only go through once in each of those mazes, I think if you have an evening like ours, where the batching spoiled it a little bit, then it does really impact you. Only 4 mazes, if you go through all of those and it's bad on each occasion, that's the entire evening spoiled. You get an unlimited ticket going, and you hit a bad bit of batching, the weather clears up a little bit later on and the mazes become less busy, you can go through again and you don't leave as disappointed. So I think definitely a couple of those changes that need to be made next year is get a couple of extra mazes in there, get unlimited tickets in there, and I think it'd really help the event overall. So it was a really quick review for Farmageddon. I am sorry there wasn't more. Again, it was too loud to do a lot of talking at the event itself. It was raining a lot outside, so we couldn't really go outside to film. So we've shown you what we could. We hope we've given a bit of a comprehensive review without being too scathing. We honestly don't want to come across as scathing. We did enjoy the bits of the event that we could enjoy. It just so happened that, as it is going to happen every now and again, we did get it on a particularly bad evening, which spoiled it a little bit for us. But these things happen. Now, for the sake of this video, tomorrow, but it's actually earlier today, we were at Liverpool Comic Con, where we met the wonderful and iconic Helena Bonham Carter, Ghost Rider himself Gabriel Luna, and the hardcore legend Mick Foley. We saw plenty of cosplay, we saw tons of fantastic vendors, and loads of great photo opportunities. So that video will be coming up shortly. Next week we are going to Disneyland Paris to seek out everything Halloween over at one of the most magical places on the planet. If you'd like to see plenty of content from there and more coming up into December, we're quickly approaching Christmas, we'll be doing lots of Christmas events, then please give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-ra!